love this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags. American flags. American flags. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American.
Welcome to the Patriots Prayer Podcast, where we cast a discerning eye on the shadows encroaching upon our liberties and the subtle forces shaping our future. Tonight, we tread into the murky waters of international intrigue and domestic debates. From the digital depths, a stark revelation surfaces. Russian hackers have infiltrated the United States government's defenses and extracted sensitive communications. Now, this breach not only highlights our vulnerabilities, but it also signals a disturbing escalation in cyber warfare, a battlefront where the enemy is unseen, but very much ever present. Now, turning our gaze inward to the west coast of the United States, California finds itself in the center of a contentious debate over carbon offsets. As proposals to tighten the regulations on these offsets reemerge yet again, we question the underlying assertions of climate change driving such policies. The debate rages on, fueled by speculative science that claims to predict the planetary outcomes with an absolute certainty. But here we stand firm in our skepticism, wary of efforts that may undermine the economic stability based on unproven environmental impacts. Now, on to the Middle East, where the air is still thick with the smoke of conflict as Iran's surprise attacks on Israel escalate the tensions in the region. Now, this sudden aggression forces the world to reevaluate alliances and strategies in the region long fraught with strife. Also, in the Sudan, the sands are stained with a year of bloodshed as the civil war rages on. The global calls for a ceasefire have become mere echoes. As the international attention wanes, and the conflict grinds on, a somber reminder of the enduring nature of human conflict. Join us as we delve into these pressing issues, piecing together the narrative like threads in the world that seem increasingly willing to trade truth for convenience. We won't do that here on the Patriots Prayer. So with that, I welcome my co-host, Native Patriot.
Welcome, you guys. Now, for just a moment here, Eddie's going to stay off the screen. We'll see if we can actually get him back. He just started having some technical difficulties, and he was able to message me while he was doing that. But welcome, you guys. Thank you for joining us on this Monday, this beautiful Monday. I personally have some news for you guys, or separate news apart from what Eddie and I are going to be discussing here in a couple minutes. But I've been on this carnivore diet for a little bit, and I'm starting to feel pretty good. There's a lot of bad news going on in the world, but I'm starting to feel pretty good. So I'm excited about this. Eddie, glad to have you back.
I'm excited about the bad news. I know that sounds sadistic, but you know what? I feel it's crazy. Remember when all this was happening on October the 7th, we figured out Iran was behind it, and they had planned it with Hezbollah, and they were selling wolf tickets. And then they do this attack, and then they act as if, Israel attacked their base, and now they felt like this was recompense for that. But in reality, it's not, what about October the 7th? What right did Iran actually have to attack based on the fact that they were attacked when they initiated it on October the 7th? So
they were behind it.
I honest to God, I found out just recently delving into the Middle Eastern politics, because you could spend your whole life studying Middle Eastern politics and still not know half of all the different regional conflicts and tribal conflicts and different versions of Islam and whatever else mixed in with
back it goes.
Exactly. It's really, really nuts. And it changes from region to region. But what I've just learned is that the Islamic Republic is the one who runs Iran, right? So Ahmadinejad and that little crew. And I don't know who the current president's name is, but he's there was a woman who's gone viral, like quite crazy, I mean, a beautiful woman, and Iran has some extremely pretty women. My God, she put a video out though, and she's talking about the difference between the Iranian people in the Islamic Republic. And she's talking about them as if they believe two separate things. Now, I remember the revolt that happened when Ahmadinejad became president and the people trying to rise up against them and the college students that were killed and when they were out there protesting. So I'm actually inclined to believe that there is a large contingent of the people in Iran that disagree with the government in Iran. Not like, Palestine versus Hamas, because I'm sorry if you disagree, but I don't see them as different people anymore. I don't see them as two separate entities. I feel sorry for the children caught in the middle, who are the only innocent ones. But to me, the Palestinian people and Hamas, I see them exactly as one and the same.
That's kind of a hard statement to get behind because as far as like the children go, but the problem with the entire, I guess it's not all propaganda, but the news wars that's going on right now between Gaza and Israel, it's impossible to really figure out exactly what's going on because right now we're in the fog of war. And we know for a fact what happened on October 7th. We know for a fact what this is something that we're going to have to piece together later, but I can't say that did you say that the children are one and the same?
No, the children are the only innocent.
Okay.
The children are the only innocent people. Now, I've actually heard people take the stance that, well, if you don't just, this is, I think, what the left's argument is they try to paint people that feel as though Palestinians and Hamas are the same as those who are calling for genocide against children. They're basically saying that we're thinking that if we just kill all of them, we won't have to fight any of them later. And that is not what people are pushing for. That's not what that's not what we stand for. Not what we stand for as Christian. It's not what we stand for as United States citizens either, period. It's just that we attribute innocence to people who cheered on 9/11. We're attributing innocence to people who send their children to a school to learn that the Jewish people are vermin and need to be exterminated from the face of the earth. These are the people that they're saying are good, different, and decent. They're not, but their children who are actually innocent, they are, and they can be saved. But how do you change a culture of people who are taught or bred to hate into a culture that welcomes peace? Because Israel has been trying to get peace with these guys for, how many years? Since 40 something, right? 1949, 50.
Yeah. The weird part about that is before we even should worry about that fixing that kind of culture at all, we have people in America right now chanting "Death to America" in New York City. We have
and in Chicago.
And in Chicago? Oh man.
Yep. And none of the ones in Chicago.
And that's just today, right?
Yeah, that was just today. And none of those ones in Chicago were American. Like they were illegals? Not American. I don't know if they were illegals, but to me they look like immigrants. And and I say that based on the way they look in their accents and that sort of thing. I'm making that assumption. Yes.
Yeah.
But the thing is though, you come to a country that offers you the ability to prosper when your country doesn't, offers you the ability to stand on a bridge and open and actually disagree with your country. Where if you did that in the country you came from, your head would be on a pike sitting on the side of a road as a warning to other people, don't do what this dumbass just did.
And that's what the liberals or the lefties today really need to understand, because I feel like a lot of these lefties don't understand the consequences or how bad history actually was. Right? Like
No,
when you go and look through history and they're advocating to end America, they don't know how bad it could get here. Like hell
it's
is a
trendy.
long way down.
It's so trendy right now just to hate your
Oh my God.
country.
Yeah, and history's brutal. I mean, people went through some bad shit. And I mean, relative to that, our lives are great. I mean, we live like royal kings. And we live better than any royal king did
Compared to
500
most of
years
the
ago.
world.
Yeah.
But this is compared today to most of the world. Now, I want to go ahead and and knock our sponsors out here real quick. I'm going to play
Okay.
a quick message from our sponsors, and I'll come right back.
This marks the potential start of a third world war, where we will be hit with a silent, untraceable attack on America that unfortunately very few will see coming. This attack will be unlike any we have seen before, the one that directly targets our power grid, which will cause a nationwide blackout and plunge our great nation into darkness, despair, and starvation. I know some patriots have been preparing for this eventuality, but stockpiling and growing your own food is simply not enough, because this marks just the first phase of this orchestrated attack on America. And with Sleepy Joe and his team of incompetents at the helm, people will soon realize no one is coming to save them. Then it will be every man for himself. The looting will begin. Supermarkets will be ransacked. Local gangs and marauders will target anyone who looks like easy pickings. And by the end of the first week, millions of unprepared, desperate, and hungry Americans will be eating from garbage cans, if they're lucky. And that's exactly what our enemies want, to destroy our great nation from the inside. But the reality is, you do not have to be a victim. There is something you can do to prepare. Hi, my name is Teddy Daniels. I am a United States war hero, a White House insider, and a Purple Heart recipient. And I just released an emergency broadcast that reveals the one thing you must do in the first hour of the attack. That will guarantee you will have a power supply for you and your family. These 3 secrets will give you peace of mind and unlimited power during this critical time. By seeing this right now makes you one of the lucky ones. Because when the attack happens, most Americans will have no idea what hit them, but not you. You'll be in complete control, and that puts a lot of power in your hands. Yes, others may laugh when they see you quietly preparing for this imminent attack, but once our power grid fails, those woke millennials won't be laughing anymore. They will be wishing they had prepared, while you and your family prosper and thrive. But you need to move fast. I have it on good authority. This attack could start as soon as next week. So I urge any American or true patriot to watch my emergency broadcast right now before it gets taken down again by the powers that be to protect their controlling interests. Watch it now while you still can, like your life depends on it, because it does.
That's more pertinent now than ever. I remember when we were in here watching, doing the podcast the other night on the weekend, and we were talking about the missiles that had just been fired, and we were just catching up to the news when we were on that interview with Nate Kane talking about the Chinese breach into our election systems. And my wife was out of town at the time, and we really had to start thinking for ourselves. If this does kick off a global conflict right now, and it's not over by any stretch of the imagination, this tensions are still very high.
They're still rising.
They're still rising. It made you think. All of the things that we take for granted, the ability to, COVID should have woke us all up to that. That the lackadaisical way we go about our day and go to our grocery stores and to our churches and synagogues and what have you, that can go away tomorrow. It easily can go away tomorrow. And the only thing that you're going to have to be left to worry about is, how do I take care of my family? How do I keep everyone safe? Do I have enough ammunition? Do I have enough power? Do I have enough water? Do I have enough food? So it's a very real thing. It's a something that everyone should be considering in
Well,
light of recent.
and this doesn't even have to be it doesn't even have to be like a government conspiracy in any way. Like if you're not into that and think, oh, there's no way that the government would allow that to happen. Well, it could be a solar flare. We're going through the solar maximum right now, where we have solar flares left and right, and CMEs and geomagnetic expulsions. That's happening every day, and we're pretty lucky that it hasn't hit Earth. But I mean, that could literally take out all of our electronics. So, or if it's a major one, but it doesn't wipe out everything, it can take out most of it. So yes, you do need to be prepared. You should figure out some way, or at least figure out a guide in order to, everybody needs to recollect in our household. What are we going to do? How are we going to get water? You should have some steps in place and at least be able to adapt to the situations,
Well,
whatever they
there
may
are
be.
plans. There are plans out there that allow people to be able to protect what some electronic devices they have with Faraday cages and that sort of thing. We're a lot more prepared for it in this day and age than when it happened the first time. It was in 1918, and they said that if the electrical grid would have been in place then, it would have wiped it all out. But at that time, we didn't have as much infrastructure as we do now. But it's definitely still something to be worried about. Now, did you see the there's a debate right now in New York, discussion around transgenders, and they're focused back on this thing again about the education and the gender guidelines and the debate whether or not the men and women sports thing moves forward. I mean, we're back on that same thing again, and they're doing it at least in front of everybody. I can at least give them that much credit, is that this isn't happening at the school board level. At least we're talking about it on the state level. But what? I mean, what does this do? I thought when the Congress passed the protection of women's sports, that was for women, but now they're saying, well, because trans women are women, it still applies that way. And I think that's do you understand that the mind, that they're doing what they're doing is twisting the word and then applying a law that only applies to what they call cis women. I hate even saying that. I feel like
this particular subject drives me crazy. It really drives me crazy because it is so freaking obvious that there's a difference between men and women. It is obvious to everybody, including children, by the way. Camo hat guy, what's up, man? It is obvious to everyone that even if you're pretending that, okay, there's not really a difference between men and women have sports for a reason. You know what's stopping women from competing in the NBA? It's not the rules. There's no rules barring a woman from joining the NBA. You know why she's not in there? Because she can't be butt whooped. She cannot compete. There's zero chance that a woman would be in any way helpful to an NBA team or to an NFL team. They've tried to put the female kickers in there a couple times, but there's just a difference. If you want to be the best of a best at like manly male shit, then you have to be a man. Because I mean, Joe Rogan.
If you're talking about ping pong or something, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's the hand-eye coordination. That's a little bit of what's that called? Dexterity that you need there.
Yeah, you could probably beat me in Halo.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because there's fast twitch muscles, and I mean reaction time, that all plays a factor too. And men are they're bigger, faster, stronger. I mean, not all, but I don't even like doing that anymore. I don't even like the whole disclaimer where it's like, yeah, not all men and not all this. It's like, we already know. We already understand this. But why in the world are the adults, okay? The adults, the ones who are supposed to be in charge, that they're actually debating this. Well, is there a difference between men and women? Yes, there is. And we should protect women, not anybody who says they're a woman, but actual biological women. There's a reason that we protect them. And that, like,
Let's go back to remember the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he was like kindergarten cop, I believe. And he's sitting there in the classroom and the little boy goes, "Boys have a penis and girls have a vagina." Like if that movie were to come out today, that would be a controversial scene.
Yeah, really.
I mean, since
and
Mr. Rogers,
it just imagine if there was a liberal teacher in the classroom being like, "Well, that's not really true, is it?" It's like, well, yeah, it is, but you know, we're trying to, you know, nowadays they want to indoctrinate the kids and all these wacky ideas that all men can become women and boys and girls doesn't actually mean anything, and you know, females are just as masculine. You know what the crazy thing is? I feel I could go on about this for a long time.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I try my best to understand like why we are allowing something like this, or why we should even entertain ideas like this. And I can understand if they, you know, if they had a court hearing, but you could just bring in any like rational scientist who actually know. Well, I don't even know, because there's so many compromised now that just believe that butchering a male turns him into a woman. It's like, well, no, it doesn't, and it never will. You know, not until we can figure out some kind of weird gene splicing thing that you know,
DNA makeup and the chromosomal makeup in order to make that happen. So
maybe a time machine.
That's why we say there has never been a successful sex change operation ever performed in history. Now, I got something that's very entertaining for you. Check this out.
Oh no.
He said, "Oh no."
All right.
So,
hammer fist comes down.
This happened in Georgia. That happened in the Georgia Parliament today over some bill to do with foreign agents, right? So the guy introduces a bill, or he's arguing against it. I'm not sure which it is. And he just gets cold cocked by the guy, just runs up and cold cocks. So this would be the equivalent of our Congress. So it got me thinking, imagine if MTG and Laura Boebert teamed up to go after the Squad.
Who would win?
I would pay everything to see this.
Hey, put it in the chat. Who would win, MTG and Lauren Boebert, or the Squad? Like, first all four of the Squad.
They could have all of their people, and we only get MTG and Lauren Boebert. Who would win?
Yeah.
Who would win? I'm telling you.
I feel like we would need one more. We would need one more, because that's 2 against 4.
Nancy Grace.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. She and Polina Luna. We take either one of them. Both of them are beasts. They're both of them are fighters, scrappers.
Yeah. Well, once decorum starts breaking down, I mean, it's definitely not a good thing. But I mean, we are getting to that point. We're getting to the point where it doesn't really, like, the words coming out of the mouth of Congress. It's getting to the point where it literally doesn't matter what they say, because, excuse me, they'll just go. These LaCroix, man, they every time I drink them, it makes me burp a lot. But every time the Congress speaks, if their words mean less and less each time, because they're going behind our backs and doing whatever they want anyway. It's like they just passed the FISA bill. In all the Republicans who have been talking out against it's warrantless spying on Americans and blah blah blah, and they freaking passed it again. Every year they're just going back and they're like, "Yep, just keep spying on Americans."
Hasn't even been a year since they voted for the 702 extension.
Gosh.
It's nuts. Matter of fact, that just happened right before Kevin McCarthy was ousted as Speaker. So, I mean, that was one of the things that we assume. Yeah, the 702 extension of FISA. So the way that law works, for those people out there who just think, "Hey guys, listen, the government's just trying to keep you safe, and you guys, unless you have something to hide, you shouldn't be concerned." Let's talk about how it actually works. 702 in the FISA, the way that it works in the United States, the 702 part especially, is that it's for foreign people in the United States not United States citizens. But what they're doing is they're trying to link you to foreign assets, somebody, let's say somebody from Saudi Arabia or Iran or wherever in a foreign country. And now all of a sudden, because they got you on tape listening to them, you become a byproduct of that investigation. And this is how they start. Well, this is now how they're backdooring the actual use of what was the intended purpose of it, to go after regular everyday citizens of the United States. 278,000 times they illegally used the extensive search in FISA, and then they tried
unconstitutionally, but yeah,
they tried to
legal.
say it was a mistake. They tried to, well, those were mistakes, like literally right in Congress. I mean, he come out.
I remember that.
It was an accident. Yeah, no, 278,000 accidents. Not an accident.
No, we need to get back to the point where it's crazy that all of the private citizens, our information is now public, and all of our public servants, all their information is private. So what they're doing, it's backwards from what it's supposed to be. Us as private citizens, we're supposed to have our privacy. We are supposed to be able to own property, like actually own it, right?
Right.
Not have to pay a fee every year that goes up or down, depending on mostly just up, because of the government printing never-ending money. And I mean, I know I've had grandparents that struggle to keep property because they paid it off 20 years ago, but the property taxes have gone up so much that they can't even afford it. They're at retiring age and they're like, I can't afford it anymore.
It never made much sense to me that our sales tax is supposed to pay for the trash, fire, police, those types of things.
Yeah.
But when you buy a property and you own it, clear, you got the deed, the whole thing. What in the hell at that point are you paying continual taxes for? It makes no sense, because the money that you're bringing in your house is taxed. When you spend it again, it's taxed. The sales tax. When you die, there's a tax there. Your same money is taxed a million times. But once you buy something free, it'd be like me buying this Snapple right here, this Snapple, and every time I bought it free and clear, it cost me, let's say, $1, right? And then every time I drink it, I get to pay a different tax for each drink. That's essentially what they're doing to us with our own money. And it's bad. I'm pretty sure there is a state, however, there is a specific state, and I don't know which one, but there is one state that doesn't do property tax. I want to say it may be Florida. I'm not sure. But while I'm looking for this, let me ask you a question. In Florida, I mean, in New York today, those same people you're talking about yelling "Death to America," burning American flags. It seems as though, it looks as though the phone call between Putin and Netanyahu was leaked intentionally by the administration so that Biden would be able to say, look, I'm not just pro-Israel, blah, 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 and try to get some of those people that are holding off their votes to vote for him. My question is this: why would you want their vote? They're out there yelling "Death to America." You should be trying to figure out who they are and investigate them, because they're all probable domestic terrorists. So why would you pander to them?
The reason that the left has gone so far left is because they are terrified of standing up to the radicals, to the extremists in their own party. So this is why it's gone further and further and further left, is because they don't know how to just say, no, you're freaking crazy. I mean, I think Jordan Peterson asked this like back in 2016 when up in Canada, Bill C-16 came out, and he was saying, you can't compel my speech. We know when the right goes too far, when they play race, identity politics and believe they're white supremacists and things like that. The right has clear lines, like Nazism, too far. But it's hard to say when the left goes too far. mean, this has been a conversation that we've been having for quite some time now, but now it's becoming more and more clear because not only has the left gone so far, but the extreme side of the extreme left that has already left the regular citizens behind. Now the governments that is pandering to them, and it's becoming more and more obvious for people to see because they're like, wait, death to him. I mean, this should have been obvious years ago when they were cheering for, against. Oh man, there's what example could I use here? I mean, there's plenty of examples where it should have been obvious to most people, but now okay, I remember 2020, the government lockdowns, when the left started championing for big pharma and for pro lockdowns. That is the weirdest thing to me, where most Americans kind of peek their heads up and like, wait a minute. When did the left go for big pharma, the most corrupt company that has the most fines out of any in all of history? Because they have a tendency to put out drugs and then try to cover it up when they screw up. But this rushed vaccine that had come out, apparently that didn't wake everybody up. But now, hopefully, there's even more waking up when they see that, okay, the government, the president of the United States, their cabinet is now pandering to the people chanting death to America. That's a freaking problem. Why in the world do we have the commander in chief pandering to these psychopaths who are saying death to America in our own country?
Yeah, it's like kneeling down before the enemy and begging them to keep you in power in your own country.
Yeah, look at the George Floyd riots when Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden, when they all took those the pictures of them kneeling with that weird African like scarf on or whatever it was. I don't even really remember what tribe it was from down in Africa. But yeah, I mean, everybody remembers that picture where they were literally kneeling for these radicals. And each year they're just pushing it further and further.
You already know Nancy Pelosi is just a terrible human being. And I'm not telling you this as someone who watches her on the news and knows about those stories. But people don't know about me, and I don't think I've ever expressed that.
I'm hoping it's just my internet that is screwing up.
Can you hear me now? So my wife, my wife, whom you've met, is related to her. Their real family name is D'Alessandro. They're from Baltimore, exactly where we're from. And let me tell you, the circumstances surrounding why she moved from Baltimore to California are a lot more nefarious than what most people they even know about. Because what happened was there was a charge of a sexual nature of someone in her little close circle there. And as a way, the charge went away. And as soon as the charge went away, so did they. And they moved out west. So this is the stuff going on with Nancy Pelosi and her immediate circle of her immediate family has never been just, a nice story to tell. It's fraught with different, all kind of different, issues with legal problems, with other issues too. I mean, I don't want to get too graphic, but
that just sounds like I guess how many of our representatives are put in place because they're compromised. Now, remember when Nancy Pelosi was talking about AOC's district, and she's like, this glass of water could, I can't even do her voice, but this glass of water could get elected, if they put a D in front of it in AOC's district. And I feel like a lot of these politicians are put in place because they're compromised and can be controlled. And it seems to be more and more true each and every person we look into. Hey, check this out. Alabama, if you are 65 and over or disabled, you are exempt from a portion of property tax.
That's a good law.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about that law, though. And I'm going to talk about it from both sides. It's like saying that like when Obama became president and he said Congress is no longer allowed to insider trade. And my question was, when was Congress ever allowed to insider trade? Right. So
Well, look at Nancy Pelosi's bank account.
It's a trick. It's a trick. So what I'm saying is that once you pay for something and you've bought it, you own it. The fact that there's property tax on it after you made your last payment on your mortgage is a problem. It's a problem that everyone should be pissed off about because you own it. So the question really then becomes is, do we ever own anything? Think about it. If we buy everything that we need in life and then go to a corner piece of real estate somewhere and then sit down, we should be fine doing that. We should not have to do anything else at that point. We've paid for everything. We're good. We got our savings. You're cut off. We're good where I'm at. I got my bubble. They won't let that happen. They don't let that happen. So
you're bringing a whole new twist to you will own nothing and be happy.
That's where I was going with it. It's exactly where I was going with it. It's already like that. Remember when they tax tea, 2% tax on a morning beverage, on some tea, and the country went berserk. It was over 2%. Now do your income tax now. First of all, the Constitution of the United States of America says there shall be no tax made upon your labor. What is federal income tax? If you actually look into the laws that govern the taxes in the United States of America, they contradict each other. They contradict the Constitution.
Yeah. There's also like 1,300 or 13,000 different rules that, I mean, it's outrageous. I mean, there's just so much bloat that I have such little confidence in this particular system continuing to go on. Not without a revolt, not without people actually standing up to the powers that be and fighting to change it. But the problem is they knew exactly what they were doing when they set it up. They knew if we give you guys enough creature comforts to where you're like, I don't want to go to revolt against any of these people because I got my iPhone and I got my things and they could take them away and you know what I mean? We're like, no. I can take a hot bath. I can do all sorts of things that if I revolt against my country, I might not be able to do. Why would people leave the comfort of their everyday lives to fight for something that's right when they feel like what they would lose in the process is worth more than what they would gain by doing it? And they would lose it. Yeah, they would lose it. That's the problem. So look at this. Your car, you still pay gas tax and tags are taxed as well. It's good to remind everybody how much bullshit taxes they pay. Isn't today tax day? If you haven't gotten your freaking taxes done, the government's going to come after you. Even if you pay your taxes, and
they still might come after you. Once you agree to it, though, once you sign them papers the first time and you're in on the plan, it's like there's no going back at that point.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about sovereign citizenship. So for anybody going down that rabbit hole,
I went down that rabbit hole a couple of years ago and I was like, it just sounds like a bunch of made up mumbo jumbo. Like it sounds pretty good. It sounds, kind of legit, but at the same time, it's like,
Yeah, when I try to test that in an open court, I don't recognize your authority because this is not me. This is this is not me on my ID because it's written.
I'm not driving. I'm riding. Or what is it? I'm traveling. I'm not driving a vehicle. I'm traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm not. This is what's the one that they do? This is not me because the name is written in all capital letters. Like what?
Oh my gosh! No.
It's a really weird.
That's not me. I've seen a bunch of.
I've seen people get just serious time in court for trying to play those games. I got a couple of videos here that I want to show because it's hilarious. This girl goes in front of a city council and threatens to murder them, and she thinks she's going to get away with it because she's an SJW. They all get away with it. They say whatever they want. They do whatever they want. And nothing ever happens to these little what did Stalin call them? Useful idiots, right?
Yeah.
So listen to this.
You guys want to criminalize us with metal detectors? We'll see you at your house. We'll murder you.
I don't watch it again.
You guys want to criminalize us with metal detectors? We'll see you at your house. We'll murder you.
Oh God, I love
Prison.
that. God, I love that. I absolutely love that. Those little, oh God, I can't. These are like the dumbasses who blocked the bridge today in San Francisco to where people couldn't get to work or cross the bridge. And it just, at what point is it too much? When is it just time to slam your damn foot on the gas pedal and say, freak it, and just,
See, now you're going to go to jail. Watch it.
I won't cry.
Right.
I've been there before.
Yeah. Well, and we're failing our youth in different ways than just like once it gets to that point where they're sitting out in the road and protesting for, whether it be the climate or what were they protesting about today in San Francisco?
Palestine. Some non-existent country in the Middle East that keeps trying to fight with Israel. Call them Palestine.
Okay. So, I mean, we failed them long before that. How many of their parents are divorced parents? How many, grew up in a broken home, and how many went?
How many of their parents are sitting right there with them with the same signs, doing the same shit?
I don't know. I hope not. Jesus Christ!
It is San Francisco.
Oh, it's
the
true.
Home, the birthplace of everything wrong with the country.
I kept seeing that pop up on my timeline today, and I was like, I just don't like. I don't give a shit about these people. I really don't. Like, they do something stupid like that, and it's like, I will intentionally avoid whatever you're trying to fucking protest because of how stupid you are. And nothing happened to where somebody got out of the car and like booted him out of the way. Nothing like that happened.
Everybody should just start carrying paintball guns, right? Listen, no one's gonna die, but it's definitely gonna. It can cause some little issues. Just take your damn paintball. Take your paintball gun with you.
You know what?
And maybe replace a few with some pepper spray balls and just. Dude, I just. When I saw what happened when they tried that out here at the Burning Man, and they happened to be on reservation land when they tried it. Oh, dude, them reservation cops were not playing with them. They ran over their trailers, smashed their signs, and drug them off onto the dirt and just threw them there. That's what they should do. I mean, these people are not. This is a worldwide effort. They're doing it in Germany. They're doing it all over the place. And what's the little weird looking girl, Greta Thunberg. This girl does not miss an opportunity to get arrested on camera. And she's like kind of their poster child. I remember she gave her first speech. How dare you? It's not like Scarlett O'Hara or something talking about the climate. I mean, these people are not. First of all, let's talk about it. Talk about the whole climate thing, right? In California, they're doing they're fighting right now over whether or not they're going to do a carbon tax and carbon offsets. Obama tried it. He called it cap and trade. So basically, you will be taxed based upon how much carbon you put into the air. They're going to track how much you drive, if you're a business, and what your footprint is, and your tax is going to be, based on, and highs and lows based on your use. But
it's a social credit score.
It is a social credit score. And here's the thing: prove to me that my car and the emissions from my car are what cause the temperature to fluctuate or what cause the sea levels to rise. Because from what I understand, the carbon level in the world is like 1/10 of 1/10. It's minuscule. And with the scientists that I heard talk about it said that if it drops lower than what it is now, the plant life on the earth would die.
God, yeah.
And no experiment have they ever been able to put carbon in a controlled environment and it gets hotter. So you don't know why it happens is the real answer. So to tax us based on how much we drive our car and all that is a trick. It's a ploy. It's a money-making scheme.
Well, and they act like electric vehicles are any better when, like, my 1987 Toyota 4Runner with the 350 small block is it has put out less carbon than any new Tesla, because it's been, I mean, in the past 10 years, 20 years, because the freaking vehicle was made. How old is that? 87. So what, 36 years ago, however long that is. So a Tesla being created just now, like that giant battery that they have in there, the millions of them that they have now, those are going to be disposed of in 12 years. So you got to kind of factor that in. Like, okay, eventually this is going to create this massive, pile of shit that we're not going to be able to actually do anything with. Maybe they'll create something in the future to save that. But not only that, where does the electricity come from? I mean, you can see, like, in Chicago this past winter, where cars were, I mean, all the Teslas were lining up all around the corner because it froze outside. And guess what?
Mhm.
Electric cars don't work when it's frozen. So,
and let's not even forget what happens to the UAW. They don't need all this manpower to build EVs. They don't. Even Tesla's factories don't use that kind of manpower because it's all done by robots and assembly line. So if you are a part of the UAW and you're down there building a combustion engines, your job's gone. Where do you send those people that this is all they've known how to do? This is what they were trained to do. They're in their union. They dedicated their life to this. And now overnight, what was it, 32? They said, is it 32? I think that's the year that's like the last year that they're going to make the combustion engine. Let me tell you, one of the best investments any one of you will ever make. Buy as many combustion engine cars as you can and store them. I guarantee you're going to make a mince.
Yep. I mean, they'll come back. They'll come back eventually. Now, I really wanted to tell you guys that on Wednesday, we are having Ben from the Suspicious Observers channel on YouTube on. So we'll be talking about solar flares, the geomagnetic pole shift, and this is coming up on this Wednesday. So 2 days. What is it? The 17th? Yeah, the 17th. Yeah. We'll have Ben on from Suspicious Observers. It is going to be a really interesting talk. So think about that. Look him up on YouTube. Yeah,
I got a few curveballs for Ben.
I don't know. He's pretty damn smart.
I've watched his channel. I've watched his channel. Extremely interesting guy. Knows his stuff. Like really knows his stuff. So it's gonna, and on the 23rd, guys, on the 23rd, we'll have Jam Wayne on. So if you don't know who that is, new rapper, right? And the guy's like, he's like my age, right? So it's already kind of doesn't fit the normal mold of a rapper, right? Mountain man, beard, white dude, just does not fit the typical mold. And this guy is amazing. I could just listen to his music and I'm driving in the car, every song after song after song.
I think people are really starting.
Go ahead.
I think people are really starting to kind of break the mold from what's like normal and what's not normal, because I used to get asked all the time, like, what's your favorite music? It's like music that has meaning to it. It could be old country music where, like, like twangy, like Marty Robinson or Robbins, just Marty Robbins. Or it could be like Tom McDonald, or Samson. I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard Samson. He's only put out a couple songs. He's like not that well known, but he's freaking great. Holy cow. He made some great raps. And so, yeah, my favorite kind of music, when there's meaning behind it, when they have good lyrics, when they're telling us a story, regardless of whatever way that they're telling it. If they're telling a good story, I'm probably going to like it. But all this,
I'm trying to see if I can't find his video, because I had it in here at one point. I think this is it right here. Maybe.
across the United States remain in a state of high tension tonight as the country braces itself for another wave of protests.
You can already see
what the government cooking in America's kitchen. About to open up a can of whoop ass on you bitches. About to write your prescription. Gonna get you a
I'm telling you, get your shotgun shells ready. This dude is coming on the show, and it's going to be live, man. I can't wait. I'll be honest with you. I'm really looking forward to that one. And for anyone out there, everybody out there, do me a favor, guys. Tag Tom McDonald. Everybody, I don't care who you are. If you're watching the show, at Tom McDonald, tag his ass. We want him on the show. Him
50
and
minutes
Rock,
and 30. Tell him 50. Tag Tom McDonald and then say 50 minutes and 45 seconds.
We want Tom McDonald on the show. That is something I've been pushing for a while, and I get answers from most people that I reach out to. And this is just, he's a really hard nut to crack. You can't get
he's like all-star celebrity, but not the typical way. He wasn't promoted and pushed by
he did it all himself.
Label company. Literally, I mean, he did have the advantage of having something like YouTube, to really make him popular. But you know what? That should just tell people that the just because YouTube has stupid rules doesn't mean that you can't use it. Or, I mean, X has its problems right now, but there's still many great things that can come out of these platforms, because more communication is better than less communication. More censorship is bad. But if we're able to get around that and kind of steer, I mean, the culture is starting to change. Elon is doing a bit better with managing this company. I mean, I know he put that freaking World Economic Forum lady in charge, but oh my gosh, my hair is just all over.
Our buddy Dan from Nunn Report got his account permanently suspended for. Actually, I seen the post. He didn't say anything at all wrong. Nothing wrong, guys. What happened to him could have happened to anybody for no reason at all. It really sucks. Before we get out of here, I want to go over one more story. Before we do, though, I'm going to hit the sponsors one more time, and we'll come right back.
Greetings, kindred spirits. Welcome to Smoking Gun Coffee, where the essence of the land infuses every sip. It carries the spirit of reverence for the earth and its gifts. As you indulge in our carefully crafted blends, envision the dance of the winds and the whispers of ancient trees. Let each cup be a journey through time, a tribute to the harmony found in nature. Smoking Gun Coffee, a ritual of warmth, a connection to the sacred. Embrace the rich tapestry of flavors and join us in honoring the legacy of the land. Taste the spirit. Savor the journey. Smoking Gun Coffee, where every cup is a celebration of our shared connection.
Smoking Gun Coffee.
Hey, by the way, commercial. I'm putting an end on that commercial. I got to put something on the end there.
You know what? I'm feeling better. I've been on the carnivore diet. I'm feeling better. I could probably get it done now. I realized I actually do want to talk about this a little bit before we head out, because I feel like a freaking vegan, like wanting to tell everybody like it's the greatest thing ever, you must do it. But I mean, really, from 2 weeks ago to now, I feel significantly better. Like there's a substantial change in the way that I just feel day to day. This is something that, I mean, I've been on it for like 8 days now. I've lost 15 pounds. And I think that was just bloat. I ran around with my son all weekend playing football. My hips don't hurt. I'm very confused. I mean, I was diagnosed. I was diagnosed with osteoarthritis in both my hips 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And I mean, basically what they say about osteoarthritis, they're like, yeah, you're on a one-way track to hip replacement. And they've been getting steadily worse over these past 4 years. But I mean, I'm not saying that it's cured. It's literally only been a week, but I feel like the inflammation in my body and the bloat that I had, just it all flushed out within a little over a week. So, and I already feel significantly better. So I don't know what was causing all that. Could have been the alcohol or the frozen pizzas,
Sugar,
or
glucose,
sugar, yeah, the energy drinks, just garbage that you put in your body. That's why with smokingguncoffee.com, you can do that even on a carnivore diet. So go to the patriotsprayer.com, and then it'll show all our sponsors on there. It'll take you over to Smoking Gun Coffee. Use discount code Native Patriot, one word. This whole thing was not just an ad for the Smoking Gun Coffee. I just figured I'd throw that in there because that's the only thing that I've been drinking apart from water is black coffee. And thank God I have Smoking Gun Coffee because it tastes delicious, and like I'm really looking forward to it now because I mean,
do they make Keurig pods too?
Yeah. Yes, they do. They make Keurig pods. They make you can buy it in bulk. You can buy I have 3 separate labels of the 3 kinds that I liked the best. And they're actually I'm talking to him about making some stickers, and because we got some cool sticker designs, some Native Patriot sticker designs that we're coming up with that I put out that Tribe of Patriots, the feather thing. The American flag feather, man. I was thinking, I really like that idea. I think I'm gonna mess with that more. Having the 50 stars and like the red and whites, the stripes be like feathers.
Yeah, the feathers is the flag.
Yeah, I want to mess with that a little bit more.
It needs a little work to it, but the design is solid for sure.
Yeah,
it's definitely solid. And don't forget, guys, we got t-shirts on the site, on the website at thepatriotsprayer.com, mugs. You name it, and we're all that stuff on there. I mean, Army, Navy, Marine Corps designs, all kinds of things on there, and we're putting so much more on there. I'm working with my guy right now. We're designing other t-shirts, and they're going to be all kinds of little gifts and things like that for you guys to give. And somebody basically, I wanted it is so that we would be able to get something for everybody in the family. It wouldn't matter if it's mom or dad. I wanted to make sure there's something on there that would kind of suit everyone's taste. But that's all coming
now. As of right now, this is pretty much the main way to support us. Either join our locals or go through our sponsors. It's one of the two. I mean, the locals, that's $5. That's locals.com.
When I did the locals, right, I said to myself, I want to make it so insignificant, the cost, that it would not hurt anyone's bottom line, period. So I made it $5 per month. That's all it is. $5 per month. We have a combined total of people that follow us of about 120,000. It would take less than 10% of you to join the locals. And that would enable us to take everything we do to the next level. This is your show. I mean, we're on here, but it's your show. And if you want to see us do better, if you want to support what it is that we're doing, go to our sponsors, go to our locals, become a member of what we call the Tribe of Patriots. And I promise you, we will be very good stewards of that money. You're going to see us all over the place come in the election season, especially at the end, because afterward we have multiple invitations to the Capitol to come and do the podcast from the Capitol. And believe me, I'm going. Believe me, I'm going. So that helps with travel. That helps with paying subscriptions and software and equipment and so much more. And I don't want to tell you that we don't need it, because we do. And that's the reality of it. So help us out.
Leslie, I believe this is, I think it is, because she's on Rumble, but
that's definitely her avatar. I believe that is Leslie.
So Ohio
Bongino Army. Join here all the time, man.
We're gonna convert her. It's gonna be it's gonna be Ohio Tribe Patriots.
Hey, but listen. We're in the Bongino Army too, though. I'm not gonna lie. I love Dan Bongino, man. I love the way he structures his show. I love the way he sources his material. I like how he doesn't want to necessarily be first, but he wants to be right. and he usually has the receipts to back up the things that he's saying. He's a solid guy, man. I really like him.
It would be nice to have a team.
Yeah.
I was right. It is Leslie. I just wish he would have helped out with Holden a little bit more. I mean, he showed his support. He painted his face red and black. I just wish we could have like reached out to him and been like, hey, help us get Holden to the Super Bowl. By the way, this was made by one of my followers, right? I don't know if you guys can see this chess piece here. Well, freaking mic's in the way. So that was actually made by one of my followers. And ow, gosh dang it, I keep screwing with this.
You're just all kinds of bundle of mess over there.
I got a huge cut here, and I made it so much worse.
I got a cut.
Oh well, it's a triangular cut, so I keep. Oh yeah. All right. Anyways,
that's why this is what I use at work right here.
Yeah. Well, I can't use gloves all the time at work because, I mean, according to OSHA, if they ever ask, I wear gloves all the time, but I can't do it. OSHA. Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Every time they come to one of my job sites, I just use the bathroom for 20 minutes until they leave. I don't deal with those folks, dude.
Yeah, I don't know if I could. I've never ran into him. So I hope I never like I barely do okay with like my boss. I can't imagine having to deal with somebody, especially like a stickler who could just comes in and is like, oh well, let me check every little thing off this box here and see if you pass.
I'll tell you a quick story about OSHA before we get out of here. So they were up on a job site in Reno, right? So I went up there, and the guy, the OSHA guy comes out. He's walking the site, and he loses his wedding ring. I guess it's too big for his finger, whatever. Falls off his finger. One of the guys finds it in the dirt, just kind of laying there, and he's like, he takes it to the superintendent on the job site, and he says, "I found this. Is it yours, or someone's let him know? It looks like a wedding ring, right?" So then a little later that day, the OSHA guy emails, "Hey, I lost my ring. If you guys see it, please let me know." And he emails him back immediately, "I found it." So the OSHA guy comes out the following day, and he's there, and he's just so grateful and thankful. "You found my wedding ring. My wife is not going to divorce me over this, blah, blah, blah." All the normal, typical things you would say in that type of scenario. And then he went on to write him a warning for not having a date on the fire extinguisher. Hell
no.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It's not good. Not good stuff. So, I mean, listen, that's why I don't mess with those people, man, at all. I'd rather not even encounter them.
I mean, I don't think you're allowed to wear a wedding ring on the job site, by the way, not a metal wedding ring. I don't even think OSHA would be allowed to, because they're climbing up and down out of things. And like your finger can get caught. If your finger gets caught on something, or your ring gets caught on something.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if you're a welder or something like that, that's a definite maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. We're not allowed to either. And I used to be defiant, like I'm wearing my wedding ring, but I got it caught on something one time as I was jumping out of the truck, and I was like, yeah, maybe they got a good point.
He says if you put milk in your coffee, it will absorb all the good stuff of the coffee.
Well, I used to tease my wife because she used to like putting a lot of that, like coffee creamer, like most people, into the coffee. And I was like,
pour it in there, man. I pour it in there.
Then you don't like the taste of coffee. You like the taste of creamer.
No.
Right.
I like black coffee too. I like it like super bold, like Dutch Brothers coffee. My favorite one is called Breve, and it's a seriously strong coffee, but it's top
Order
off
bold like Bartholomew. There's Smoking Gun coffee. You got to try it. But you know what? They don't have that particular flavor in K cups. You need to get a real coffee machine, not a K cup machine.
I have one.
Oh, okay. Then order bold like Bartholomew. Bold like Bartholomew. I'm telling you, it's delicious. I love that brand. So
I'll try it.
That was actually one of the first ones that I created.
They do make a keto coffee too.
Is black coffee?
Yeah, they make a keto coffee because I used to drink it. I used to drink it with my MCT oil in the morning. And remember I told you about the MCT oil. So that is a definite. If you don't got that and you're doing your carnivore diet, you need to get it because your body absorbs the MCT oil faster and that converts into energy quicker because this way your body doesn't have to break down the fats and the meat to create it.
It needs to.
But
it's gonna take energy. It's so.
But if you drink the MCT oil, it keeps you in ketosis as well. I don't know if you also did this, but go get you some of the ketone mixes as well. So if you go and they got them in different flavors, and you can just create the ketone mixed drinks. So what it does is it puts ketones, artificial ketones in your body. So it helps you stay in ketosis and burn fat. So even if people are not on keto, there are keto drinks that you can drink and continue to eat bread, continue to eat sugar, all those things, but you can drink these ketones and it will put the ketones in your body so you don't have to create them by being on the diet, and it will still burn.
I don't want to do that. I just want to, I think that if I just go full ham with the carnivore diet for like a couple months, that I'll be fine.
It's gonna, I mean, look, when I started the diet, I was at like 296, and within 2 months I was down to like 251. And it was, I didn't do anything. I just stayed on the diet. The problem was with me was like, Thanksgiving rolled around and everybody's eating the good baked macaroni and cheese and the biscuits. And I'm like, man, this ain't cool, dude. I can't do this.
Dude, I don't know. I mean, just the difference that I felt like between the past 2 weeks and now, like I feel 100% different. I hope it's just not like a placebo effect where it's like,
you got past the conversion point.
Yeah. And I mean, I really feel like a difference. Like I've had energy all day and it's been fairly consistent.
Clear mind.
Yes.
Absolutely clear mind.
Well, apart, because I quit smoking too. So like I have, a little bit of those nicotine cravings still. Yes, I know I smoked, you guys. All right. Bad habit. I get it. I know it's terrible, but I'm done with that now. But I chewed for 11 years and then I smoked on and off for a while and I just enjoy it. But
everybody's trying those damn Zins now. I see everybody at my work has got Zins. They're like,
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because then it's like not quitting nicotine. It's like if I'm going to quit nicotine, I'm going to quit. And if I'm going to take nicotine in, I'm going to smoke because it's way cooler than Zens. Or it's
I never chewed tobacco. I've tried it, but I've never been like on it where I had to go get some and that sort of thing. Like if we're driving around, if we're quad and if we're up in the hills or whatever, and someone's got one, I'll do it, but because it doesn't bother me. But I don't think anything in my life, it doesn't matter what it is. If I feel as though I did it, and I just get rid of it. And that's single. No, I'm saying, no, I'm not single, guys. I'm not. But no, listen, it's true though. I mean, it just the moment that I feel like my life is being taken over by a craving of something that I need. I mean, for me, cigarettes used to ruin it for me. I used to go to the movies midway through a movie. I'd have to go up and leave the damn theater to go smoke a cigarette outside and then come in and miss a part of the movie. Or you just always stunk and you didn't realize it. But it wasn't until I quit smoking that I realized what I must have smelled like to other people, especially like when someone smokes a cigarette and then they get on the elevator with you right after they do it. And you're in the elevator and you're inhaling what is like a camel on crack. Just, I didn't realize, dude, I used to love the taste and the smell and I didn't realize.
Well, like even when I came down to your house back in February, when we sent Holden to the Super Bowl, it's like you didn't smoke and like, like most people don't smoke. So I become like increasingly aware because like normally, I'm just hanging out by myself, right? Like my work day
today at all, like people in general.
I know.
Like, it's not like it was like In the 70s, everybody smoked. In the 80s, it continued even more. 90s, everybody switched to Newports, you know, with the advent of like a St. Ives liquor in Snoop Dogg videos. And then like it just went away. Everybody stopped smoking.
I know how bad it is. And like I already had cancer once. I don't need it again. But you know, I'm not sure exactly what causes cancer. I had cancer at 14 years old with no history of cancer on either side of my family. And I got a cancer that typically is like more common in older women.
Mm-hmm.
But I got it as a boy with no history of cancer on either side of the family at 14 years old. So, you know,
True. Wow.
but
That's a
I
crazy
survived
time
it.
in life to have it. When I went into the
Yeah.
hospital, this is how I quit. I went into the hospital with a serious cold. I don't know what it was, cold, flu, whatever. I was swollen up. My whole body was swollen on top of being sick. And they put me through an MRI machine with and without contrast. And they came back in the room and they told me that I had 8 lesions on my lungs. And they showed me the x-ray, and I quit right there on the spot. My wife showed back up at the hospital. She's like, I got you these gums and these patches. I was like, you can sell that shit. I don't need it. I'm quit. I don't need none of that stuff. I'm done. And I've been done ever since. You know, I only get high on the weekends now. No, it's like, listen, dude, people, if you realize the quality of your life that you're throwing in the trash by overdoing things. I'm not saying that you can't do things within reason. I'm not one of those people that believes that addiction is a disease. I know I probably just triggered a lot of people, but I don't.
It's a choice.
I grew up around a lot of addiction in Baltimore. Heroin addicts galore, crack addicts galore. I've seen it my whole life. And then, you know, and then I've had my own vices growing up that I had to get on the other side of, like most people. And I can tell you right now that it just, there is, if you want to do something, you're going to do it. And if you don't, you don't. There has to be something in your mind or in your heart that changes you on a baseline level, right? And you're never going to want that again. You're going to lose your attraction to it, whatever it is. And that's going to be whatever triggers that change in a person is different for each individual. But I think that when we call drugs, heroin, coke, whatever, the meth, whatever, a disease, I think what we do is we enable people with an excuse as to why they don't quit, because you just told them, well, it's not your fault. You have a disease. And then you put them in these programs like AA and NA, which are antithetical to Christians, because they sit there every time they get together, they say the same mantra. I am powerless. I can't do this. I'm an addict. I'm an addict. I'm powerless. I'm an addict. I'm powerless. And that's what they do the entire time. So how are they going to beat something when they just admitted defeat? And they sat there and said they don't have the power to do it. I am an addict and I'm powerless.
I think it's once people get down a certain road, because I've known alcoholics that I mean, there are certain people like with alcohol that, but then again, if they choose not to drink, which is probably the best choice, choosing not to drink. If you have any problem with alcohol, you know, if you get a little loose with your morals, if you decide, if you drink too many and decide to drive, it literally takes once, and then your entire life is screwed up, all for having 4 drinks at the restaurant instead of 2. You know, I mean, you can screw up your life in major ways, and it might not even be your fault. Imagine if you have 4 drinks at the restaurant, and then, I mean, I don't need to lecture people on what they should or shouldn't be doing, you know. But I forgot my point. I had one. It's gone now.
Well, yeah, no, listen, everything in moderation.
I didn't want to start lecturing people. Yeah.
If you're an alcoholic, or you claim to be an alcoholic and you think staying away from it's going to help you, then do that. I am of the school of thought that I don't believe that someone who contends with that type of a thing should feel like the world has ended because they're at a wedding and they have a glass of champagne versus, going on a bender and waking up in a hotel in Vegas with 6 little people naked in the bed with you. Like, that's not the same thing as having a glass of champagne. Like, you didn't fall off the wagon. The world's not over.
I know. Have you ever looked into the story of the little people who worked on the Wizard of Oz?
No.
You want to go down a rabbit? You want to go down a rabbit hole?
Let's hear
it. Well, okay. We got.
You know how I feel about little people. I love them.
Yeah,
I love them.
So
we will have eventually. We're gonna have one. I have a little window right here in the middle for his spot. Right.
The Oompa Loompas that played in the Wizard of Oz apparently cover. If any children are listening, cover their ears. They were having huge sex parties, and they couldn't giant orgies. They would all just like mingle together, and on the set of the Wizard of Oz, they had
lollipop guild, dude.
They had serious problems with this. I mean, it was a huge problem because I mean, look it up. It was like I don't remember where I learned that, but yeah, they had big problems stopping the.
Oh my god, dude!
He says huge and giant oxymoron. Yeah, you're right. They had tiny little orgies that was.
Why do I want to see this? Why do I want to see this now? What did you do, dude?
They don't have videos of it.
Okay.
But yeah, there's just article. I mean, this was way back in the day. But yeah, look it up. It's really fascinating. I mean, a whole bunch of stuff went on in that Wizard of Oz. I remember my grandpa. Yeah, I remember my grandpa showing me the Wizard of Oz when I was a kid, and most people, I was scared of the monkeys and things like that. But overall, I thought it was a really cool movie. And then you learn the snow that they dropped on their heads, that was all pure asbestos, and it poisoned all of them. The paint that they used on the snow, the snow that dropped down and put them to sleep, that was pure asbestos. And so they all got poisoned from that.
They all got mesothelioma from the movie.
Yes. And the first Tin Can Man didn't even make it into the movie because they covered him and he had a heat stroke or maybe it was lead poisoning from the paint that they used. So he didn't even make it into the movie. They had to get a whole new guy for it.
Nuts, dude.
Oh,
I had no clue. But you seen when they made the new Willy Wonka, right? The one with Johnny Depp in it. First of all, it was very creepy. But second of all, is they used one little person, dude. Just one. All the out of work little people in the world, and they just computer generated that one 100 times. That's messed up.
They took their jobs.
They took
their jobs.
So she's saying, the Tin Man paint had lead in it.
Yep.
Yep.
Damn.
And it must have soaked right through his pores, right into. So it'll make you go insane.
The first one died. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember. It's been a while since I looked into it, but yeah. So giant sex parties for the midgets. I'm thinking of the right movie. Yeah. It's either.
Say hi.
Wizard of Oz.
Say hi. That's
hey, Doggo.
It's Dixie.
Dixie. That's a good name.
Dixie.
All right, you guys. It's about time to cut out of here. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Wednesday, remember, we're having on Ben from Suspicious Observers. We are going to be talking about the geomagnetic pole shift, maybe the inevitable geomagnetic pole shift, tying it to the Bible, possibly, Revelation, end of days, kind of seeing things like that. And it is going to be an interesting conversation, to say the least. He's a very smart guy. I recommend looking at his YouTube channel, Suspicious Observers. I'm not sure if he has a Rumble channel, but he's Weather Sunman on X, if you're looking at him. Weather Sunman.
Is it Weather Sunman or Sun Weatherman?
You know what? I think you're right. Dang it. I thought I had it. Is it Sun Weatherman?
I think it's Sun Weatherman.
You're right. It's Sun Weatherman on X.
Mm-hmm.
But Yeah,
So
so he
you would
puts
have
out
remembered
videos
that.
daily.
We would have remembered that if you would have just had one Jolly Rancher. See what's going on with your
No,
diet?
nuh-uh.
No.
The Bible
Listen,
is everything. God is king. Christ
Yes,
is king.
He is king, and he's still alive, and he'll be back here in like 10 minutes. He's coming.
Ugh.
He's a coming. So, guys, as usual, the silent majority, you already know, need to stop being silent and stand your ground. And we will see you next time on the Patriots Prayer Podcast, guys. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us. We'll see you soon.
Take care, guys.
My people of this country and we're under attack. They banning us, they cancel us for speaking the facts. If you man enough, come stand with us, take USA back. And every time we pull up, all you're gonna see is American flags.